Today we will be analyzing all 26 players who played in the recent Japan vs France game, and we will base it on both on the ball and off the ball plays, as well as mental managements to keep your teammates in check, or even demoralize them in Hugo's case. I will do my best to use those criteria to make the best list possible I can do. So before we get into this video, make sure to hype, like, subscribe, comment, and do all what you can to help support the channel. Anything helps at this day of age, bro. Also got a Discord server for those who want to chat more and get sneak peeks about my video updates and stuff like that. I got Agi vs Onazi and Charles videos and a lot of France videos incoming, so to stay tuned for all of that, join the Discord. Now let's get into the criterias. Goalkeepers. For the keepers, it's simple. I'm looking at saves versus goals conceded. If you're stopping shots, you're getting credit. If you're leaking goals, it's going to hurt your rating. But I'm also watching communication, how you organize your defense, how you command the box. That leadership matters too. Defenders, I'm on you really heavy. I'm looking at every defensive moment, tackles, interceptions, blocks, passes made by you, important mistakes too. If your man gets past you or your error leads to a goal, I'm calling it out. No hiding today. Midfielders. For the midfield, it's all about battles. Duels won, duels lost, and how you control the tempo. If you're forcing opponents backward or sideways, that's a win as well. That's pressure. That's pushing them back. I'm rewarding control and dominance in the middle. Forwards/wingers. And for the attackers, I'm judging you on what you're paid to do. Create and score. I'm not going to go too hard on defensive mistakes for the attackers. It's all about your offensive impact, goals, assists, chances created, just pure domination on the offensive side. I'm sorry, I'm really tired because this is 12 a.m. in the morning. I'm just trying to get this out as fast as possible. Last place, Gen Gagamao. Alright, let's get right into it. Coming in last place is actually not Olivier IQ but Gen Gagamao. The man used to be called Gokabao and now is Maru. To be honest, it made sense that he was going to be bad in this game, conceding 4 goals with no saves, and had to get saved by Kunigami and Nico so it wouldn't be 6 goals on his head. He literally did nothing positive to contribute to this game. I get where Kaneshiro is going with this, as he is setting up Gagamao to have an anxiety attack or going to make him stressed to the point where he can't play in a match even as soon as England, allowing Fukakugen to finally play, and against England of all teams as well. And check out my predicted lineup video for that game, by the way, as I go more in depth on the England stuff. 25th place, Olivier IQ. Our captain had a stinker in this game. He had a few positive moments unlike Gagamao, as he helped cool down Isagi and Karasu when they were having their Civil War moment in chapter 337. He did have the right idea to have more than one man mark Loki in the beginning of the match, as Loki is just that much of a pressure beast, as you don't want to have just 2 people on him. You want to have 3 people, as you want to guarantee safety. But they just didn't account for Charles to score off of Hugo's pass, and he wasn't the one who Charles was on, so I'm not gonna give him too much of the penalty for that. And what I am gonna go on off of is the fact that he actually did mark Charles properly when Hugo did score, but the second half did him no favors, as he didn't touch the ball the whole game and had no defensive stops. And then getting cooked by Loki twice, yikes, this was just a game IQ will want to forget. I'm sure the captain will bounce back in the next game against England, and I also explained that in my England video. I really suggest you check out that video. 24th place, Delon, the weakest French player on this list. He only had one positive, which was blocking Rin in chapter 331, so Isagi couldn't pass to him. But he has a whole bunch of negatives, like letting Bachura get a nutmeg pass through him in chapter 334, couldn't stop Karasu and Hiyori in chapter 336, and then lost his duel with Hiyori. In the second half, chapter 340, he let a bunch of passes from Hiyori go through, starting in 340 and then getting cooked by Shido in chapter 342, who really isn't all that on dribbling, so he had a lot of negative feats in this game. I told you, there's no hiding. I see it all in this game. I'm in depth on this. 23rd place, Gaben. He did just a little bit more than Delon positively, but the negative ratio is still about the same. He locked down Ryu from being effective in the corner kick play and blocked Hiyori's shot course in chapter 336, forcing him to pass. However, his negatives are the following: letting Karasu hold him off for Hiyori's goal in chapter 336 and could have stopped the shot if he had jumped and stopped it with his head. He got clipped by Barou, allowed Shido to sneak past him, and allowed Otoya to dribble past him. Bro was allowing all the subs to just feast on him in this game. And lastly, the thing that pissed me off the most is he let him do it to him again, bro. Bro, as a man, you have to be embarrassed. Letting a crow man dominate you like that, just hold you off in place, bro. Anyway, next is 22nd place, Choppa. The man everyone thought who was going to be a new Gen 11. Good times, wasn't it, huh? His positive feats are doing a good job marking Reo in chapter 332 and not letting Shido dribble by him in chapter 340, like Delon and Camus let happen. His negatives are losing a duel to Chigri, not covering Rin in chapter 334 like he was supposed to, not stopping Karasu from sending a pass to Shido, which was set up the play for Bao's goal, and getting held off by Karasu, who was trying to get a hat-trick of assists. What puts him above the ones below him is he had 2 notable positives, and the ones below him only had 1 positive or just more negatives than him. 21st place, Iki Nico, and I know you guys are gonna flame me for putting him here, but just because of one good thing doesn't mean he's actually that insane. The defender in this game that everyone glazed because he had the best feats in the first half. Stopping the ball from going to Loki was a really good feat, but that's all he's done in this game. He literally let Charles score in his face. While IQ and RU were there too, Nico was the one who was right in front of Charles, and Charles shot it in front of Nico, allowing it to go in. And during the second goal, when Hugo scored, Nico was nowhere to be found. And then he gets benched. He didn't do as well as people claimed him to be. He didn't have much competition though, with IQ and Gagamao also doing absolutely nothing. So while he did do really bad in this game and didn't really do anything except for that one moment where he got the ball, it's just like he doesn't have much competition below him, and then the people above him actually have more than 1 feat and less negatives. So let's get on to them. 20th place, Hermes. This guy actually didn't have as many negatives as I thought he did. Let's get the obvious out of the way. Sick character design, but I actually like it. He blocked Reo from having a shot course, which made it obvious he was going to pass, allowing Hugo to stop Isagi from scoring a goal. He also blocked Hiyori's shot course in chapter 336. He only had 2 negatives, being losing track of his mark Isagi in chapter 334 for that corner play and getting dribbled past by Bao in chapter 340. Honestly, if you want to put him a place or 2 up after seeing who is above him, I wouldn't blame you. But I had made this list before chapter 347. 19th place, Jubei Ryu. With the amount of aerial duels in this game, you would think that he would have had a dominating game in the air, but no, he had a stinker of a game too. But let's look at his positives real quick. He helped block out Loki's shot course in chapter 330, and he got to the ball before Layden did. And if Layden did get the ball, he would have probably scored on them for sure. So Ryu did a good job on getting there first, and also had a successful pass as well. He also marked Camus pretty well in chapter 343. For some reason, Ryu was coming way too forward in this game. Like, Ryu, you didn't achieve anything by doing this. You let Layden's shot go through. You weren't any help when Hugo scored, and you couldn't even stop Hugo's lob pass to Loki. Like, bro, you're an aerial guy. Just jump in the air and stop the pass midway through. You've done this to score with Batru, and now just do it on the defensive end, bro. Use your brain cells a little bit. You also learned in the Nigeria game how to react to strikers, like how you did with Onazi. Now just use that in the aerial sense, bro. Come on, Ryu, you could have done so much better. Like, against Aggie in the England game, you better lock in. But yeah, I can't put him any higher than this. 18th place, Eita Otoya. Definitely Bluelock's weakest sub in this game. While he doesn't have the least positives among the 4, he has the dumbest negatives amongst them. He did a good job dribbling past Gavin in chapter 344 and then had some good link-up plays in the Karasu system. However, for some reason, he felt the need to take a super long-range shot that had no choice and no reason for Otoya to be the one shooting that. This is some Kaiser or Rin level shooting, and bro just felt like, yeah, I'm that guy today, I'ma shoot it. But no, Loki just deflected it, and this could have ended up being a fast break counter for France to score, but luckily Isagi saved him. Loki also rushed through him in chapter 347 to score the game-winning goal for France. Only reason he is above Ryu is he had less time to cook and still had a bit more positives and less negatives than Ryu, who had 90 minutes to do all that. And Otoya, if he had more time, kinda sure might have let him cook even a little bit more. Now 17th place is shockingly Rensuke Kunigami. I had him in the bottom 6 when I started this list, but the more I reflect on it, I think he had a better impact than most of these guys. Like, his one positive is a massive positive compared to the rest because it was actually like a game-saving stop. And unlike Nico, where you don't really get to see the backbone, this is right in the penalty box. So you know if Loki actually got there, it is a confirmed goal. So Kunigami stopping this is like bigger than Nico stopping Loki earlier on. So yeah, I gave this more critical defensive points. Considering he's a defensive midfielder, I allocated that point budget to him as well. And then his two negatives is like, bro, what could you do? You're facing new Gen 11s. Was allowing Hugo to pass with Kunigami pressuring him, and he still got a perfect pass off to Loki for the goal. And then he also couldn't get to the ball before Loki. Like, Kunigami, you could have scored a hyena goal to save Japan. You could have been Bluelock's hero, but no, you just let Loki get the ball and like just get a counter attack. So those are his two negatives, basically allowing Hugo and Loki to run through him so they could get their goal. So both of Loki's goals are basically because of Kunigami not being able to get the ball in time. So yeah, I think 17th is good for him. He did good, but he just didn't really get a lot of screen time. Kaneshiro really did him dirty, bro. 16th place, Bats. Bats was a really brute force in this game, running fades on everyone in this game. He started off by putting good pressure on Rin in chapter 331, forcing Rin to pass. He locked up Karasu also in this chapter and kept stat pressure in chapter 332 and got some good pressure on him in chapter 344 again. But when you consistently run the fade with everyone, your negative feats are bound to show, and boy did it show. By allowing Bachura to slip past him in chapter 332, getting cooked by Karasu in chapter 335, allowed Karasu to hold him off in the next chapter. He then lost his mark on Karasu in chapter 340. Damn, Karasu owned this guy. Then he lost his duel with Hiyori in the next chapter and allowed a full pass to Shido and got held off by Karasu in the same position. Bro, do you not learn or anything? If not, wasn't for you having 4 positives and having a consistent force against the opponents, you would have been way lower, but 16th is good for you. 15th place, Renoir. From being a bum in the NEL to actually being a competent goalkeeper in this game, he actually outperformed Gagamal in this game, which is weird and weird to even say, bro. I feel like my tongue needs to be scraped after saying that. He had a few positives. For starters, saving Isagi's shot in chapter 334 while he used his tongue on the ball. I don't know what he was thinking, but Kornhuber is thinking about giving him a contract to offer when he quit soccer. He was in the perfect position earlier to stop Bachura in the same chapter to make sure Bachura couldn't score on him. He had to remind his team to lock in and mark their players properly all in the same chapter because Isagi broke through Hermes and Loki had to abandon Rin to stop Bachura and Hiyori, so he had to make sure everyone got into their new markers and stuff like that. So he was commanding his defense, which is really good. You really want to be able to have that thing. Gagamal hasn't really done that in this game or in the Nigeria game as well. He also had a successful throw to Loki, who almost got to torch the Bluelock team, but Chigri and Karasu had other plans. He was also in the perfect position to stop Hiyori's shot in case Hiyori was having any other ideas. His only negatives is conceding those 2 goals and maybe not being able to save Rin and Isagi's shot as the crossbar saved him. 14th place, Ryusei Shido. I think this was the biggest disappointment for me in this game. I expected him to shoot and score, at least get some shots off in this game. Maybe not score, but at least get a shot off, and he did none of them. Like, as a right winger, I do have to give him points on having good playmaking and dribbling feats in this game, having 3 successful passes in this game through chapter 340 and 342, dribbling through 2 defenders in chapter 342, and snuck past Gabin to get himself open for a clinical pass. So he was making good plays. It's just knowing the type of player Shido is, it's really disappointing he didn't get to do more. But considering his position, I can't rank him lower just because of my emotions. I have to be unbiased about this. So yeah, he had actually no negative plays. It was just kind of Shido just doing him dirty by not even letting him have a single shot at a time. Like, what happened to the Shido who was taking 12 shots a game? Even against BM, his only shot was the goal he had. Like, bro, we need double Joker starting next game and we need Shido going mental, bro. Now, 13th place. Where do I begin? No, seriously, where do I begin with this? Bum, fraud, trash, loser, sci-fi, point negative 1 Itoshi Rin. This man sold this game and now every Isagi and Psyglazer is at his doorstep right now. But he didn't sell the whole game. He did have some good moments, like having 3 successful passes in this game, getting a nutmeg on Loki and still getting a shot that turned into a corner kick by 2 new Gen 11 players. He was also open for a goal in chapter 334, but Isagi was having a diva moment and thought he was him a fee, only to give Renoir his only save of the game and a corn hub contract too while he's at it. However, it's time to get into his negatives. Losing a duo to Hugo, getting locked up by Delon of all people, like he was France's worst player. Come on, Rin. And his reliance on Isagi made him ghost the whole second half until he had to try and have his own diva moment by joining Isagi's shot by making it hit the crossbar, setting Bluelock's chance of getting a point against the strongest team in the tournament, France. Now I could talk about Rin and just slander him for 5 more minutes for being a bum of a brother and a trash rival to Isagi, but I have 2 whole videos already dedicated to Rin, so I'm not going to do that here. 12th place, Meguru Bachira. So for Meguru Bachira, I actually have him being the second best amongst the bench trio, as I know he didn't have his best game, but he still cooked. On Bachira's first touch of the game, he gets past Bats pretty easily and then gets stopped by Camus, which is what makes so many people think Bachira had a terrible game because of this play. But he still keeps going. It's not like Bachira got dispossessed like how Nero did to Yukimiya. He's still keeping the ball and he gets the pass off to Chiguri. Bachira pulls off a sleek corner with Hiyori. When Renoir has him covered, it was actually a decoy and he sends a nutmeg pass through the lawn to Isagi. This could have been an assist, but Isagi got stopped by Charles. And like Bachira was open to score in chapter 335 with only Gavin and Hermes being in his way, but Karasu wanted to use his favorite femboy so he could score. I'm forgetting what other chapter he was open, but it happened. The point I'm making is just because Camus stopped him once, people really think Bachira had a bad game, but it was only that one play where we actually saw Camus on Bachira. So Bachira had way more positives than negatives in this game. 2 successful passes, 1 successful dribble, and a good corner play. His only negative was getting locked down by Camus and being bent. That's literally all I have to say for him, and Bachira didn't even get dispossessed, so like chill out. I do believe he deserves a strong ranking, but right above him is the guy who locked him up, 11th place, Camus. He just barely missed the top 10, but for a tertiary side character in this game, he did his thing. As he locked up Bachira for like 1 play, it's hard to tell if he did it for 45 minutes, but the way Bachira is sweating, I can guarantee you he put in work on Bachira. And after chapter 335, we really didn't get to see him really cook against Bachira because it was the femboy show for Karasu and Hiyori, and then Hugo and Charles had their own show too after. Camus made Bachira sweat really hard. I have to elaborate on that for defending Camus. But after like Bachira got benched, he really didn't have a positive showing, as he let Karasu get through him in chapter 340, getting destroyed by Shido in 342, getting cooked by Hiyori in chapter 344, and actually did have one more positive with the Okaz Breeze decoy as he helped get the 3rd goal of the game. And then he got nutmegged by Karasu in the next chapter, being 345, and also got destroyed by Hiyori in 345 as well. Honestly, I was going to put him below Bachira considering because of all the defensive clips that players other than Bachira got on him, but considering that he actually benched Bachira, I spared him and actually just kept him right above him. He did not touch the ball once, and that's strange because he's a right winger, so he should have had some offensive feats, but he fulfilled his job as like a Bachira man marker and then also being a good decoy. So yeah, he did his thing. It's just as a right winger position, I expected you to have some offensive feats, and you really didn't have any on the ball. You just mainly had off the ball feats, which is fine, but still, I expected just 1 feat. That's just it. 10th place, now we're here in the top 10. The big boys, starting with the rich one, Reo Mikage. He was the one to start motivating the team after conceding the first goal against France, helping the team stay motivated. He copied Kunigami to get a pass over to Isagi even with Hermes pressing him. He caught Hugo lacking with a fake shot, which almost helped Isagi score in chapter 334. He also did very well in Karasu's triangle system in the second half, but he got locked up by Chopper in 332, failed to get past Hugo in chapter 341. Like, well, you copied Hiyori, Yukimiya, Bachira, Barou, Rin, and Sai, and you couldn't use one of their dribbling techniques to get past Hugo? Come on, bro, that's just embarrassing. He failed to stop Hugo, leading to France's 3rd goal, and then got benched in chapter 344 for Otoya of all people. Alright, 9th place, Layden. This guy is a very fun character and got a lot of shine in this game for a tertiary character as well. And he is pretty damn impressive. He was tracking back to regress Chigri to the bench in chapter 332 and 335. He made a really good solo run in chapter 340 that turned into a beautiful shot-like pass. He also helped out with the Okaz Breeze decoy in chapter 343 to help get their third goal, with his negatives being not being able to dispossess Chigiri in chapter 332 and losing to Reo in their matchup twice in chapter 340. Lastly, he helped man mark Shido with Charles and made him ineffective in that final play of the game. But the person he was regressing to the bench actually did have a better game than him, surprisingly being the best person who was benched in this game, Hyoma Chigiri. And this is no bias, I have to explain myself. The Pink Red Panther actually did very well, and this community has a very bad, and I mean very bad, comprehension of this manga in terms of like analyzing one feat and then making that the whole claim of the game. Like, people will take one thing, and especially with characters like Loki, they just take one piece of image and just run with it to no end. And now we have to get into Chigiri. Chigiri like only had one negative play and people thought he was trash for it, but his shortcomings isn't even his fault, it's Kaneshio's fault. He locked down Naden, rendering him ineffective in the opening play, hit a Serena Rose across to Reo, got a pass off to Isagi, and his best feat was help slow down Loki. As if they went 2-0 down, if Chigiri didn't help stop Loki, Bluelock would have probably just died right then and there, as they wouldn't have had the momentum they had with Chigiri and Karasu actually locking it, and that would have really messed them up before the second half. And keeping up with the Divine Spinner Loki is no easy feat, even though Chigiri kind of had like a head start because he was far back compared to Loki, who had to rush into the opponent's half. Chigiri only had to rush through his own half to stop Loki, but still, like, no one else in this game ever had a chance of keeping up with Loki except for Chigiri. So it goes to show like Chigiri was a really big deal in helping stop Loki. And yeah, he had a bunch of offensive plays. He never actually got dispossessed, just like Bachua. Like, people are making it seem like Chigiri and Bachua got destroyed, but we never really got to see it. And plus, when you're dribbling with the ball, it's harder to actually like dribble fast with the ball compared to someone who is running without the ball, you get me? So yeah, Chigiri had a bunch of good moments and he should have never been benched. I think Kaneshiro just wanted to put in Kunagami for some reason, but yeah, Chigiri should have never been benched, bro. I'm serious. Now, 7th place, Yoichi Isagi, the main character, the one who got a reality check and is now going to have the best locker room fight in 2026. I know he had a stinker in this game, but hear me out. He had 7 successful passes in this game, the second or third most in this game. He had 1 shot on target. By the way, hitting the crossbar does not mean it's a shot on target. He out-metadated Hugo to get the loose ball in chapter 344, pretended to be on Karasu's side for a chance at his own goal, manipulating the whole field, beat Hugo in a luck battle, and almost scored the game-tying goal. However, he had a lot of stinkers, losing to duos with Hugo 3 times, chapters 330, 331, and 338. With the first and the last one both causing massive breakthroughs in the midfield that allowed Hugo to get an assist and score his own goal. Isagi is definitely going to bounce back in the England game, and if it wasn't for Rin, he would definitely be in the top 5 in this category. Now, 6th place. From here on out, we're going to people who had goal contributions, literal goal contributions. Bluelock's best sub in this game by far, Shoei Barou. Didn't even get to do that much, but because of his super goal that boosts his rating immensely, and now we are in territory of the 6 players who had a GA, we have to get serious. Besides his goal, he only had the ability to dribble past 2 defenders and lost the ball in front of goal. That's all that happened with him in this game, and also shows he is the last Blue Locker to score in every single game he's played. Hold that, Rin fans. Actually, hold that, Rin fans. Barou is the solo king of scoring in Bluelock. This is what happens when you don't spend your whole match sticking close to Isagi and being baby fed by Isagi. 5th place, Hiyori. I generally thought Hiyori was going to be one of the worst in this game, so he could get benched in the England game. But Karasu made sure that wasn't going to be the case, but he was low-key cooking even before Karasu got involved. He faked a cross to catch Loki slipping in chapter 334, had 7 successful passes like Isagi, dribbled past Delon in chapter 336, and scored in the same chapter. He dribbled past Camus in chapter 344. His negatives was failing to mark Camus in the opening play and failing to mark anyone in Loki's goal. So he had a defensive stinker and an offensive masterclass. 4th place, Charles Chevalier. He got so done dirty in the second half for no reason in this game. Like, this was being built up to be Charles x Loki's game, but then Hugo takes over and like we never get to see anything pay off from Charles' claim about sending some nasty passes to Loki. Like, they never even passed it to each other once. Like, yeah, it's just bad. But in the first half he did fine, getting the quickest goal of the tournament, and that was a good contrarian gremlin shot, putting good pressure on Rin in chapter 331, forcing Isagi to take a bad shot in 334, forcing Shido to pass to Hiyori in chapter 340, getting an assist to Hugo and man marking Shido in the final play alongside help with Layden. His only negative was letting Shido slip by him, and he had a pretty good game, but just like Chigiri got disrespected by Kaneshiro. Let's get into the top 3. And in 3rd place is Tabito Karasu, the best player for Japan in this game. He carried them from a situation that looked like they weren't going to score without subs to taking full control of Bluelock. He really made a comeback after people were trash talking him every chance they got. He got a successful tackle on Loki, having 2 successful dribbles in chapter 335 and 345, having 12 successful passes, 2 assists, and saved Reo from Hugo. The reason I have him above Charles is because he was effective in both halves of the game, and even though Charles' GA of having a goal and assist would be better than just 2 assists, I think Karasu's involvement throughout the whole game was just more effective than Charles. And because he was also Japan's anchor, his effectiveness was much more needed than Charles in this game. He was Japan's SVP of the game for Marvel rival players, but sadly not the man of the match. Now, who is number 1? Julian Loki or Vivian Hugo? Let's talk about their positive first, shall we? For Loki, he was a perfect bait for Charles in the opening goal. Bro's pressure was so strong the whole back line had to jump him. He kept up with Rin immediately after getting nutmegged and forced him to take an uncomfortable shot. He dribbled through Hiyori and Isagi in chapter 335. By the way, he switched foots when getting past Hiyori, which shows he has world-class ball control too. He also held off Chigiri pretty well in their clash. He put good pressure on Rin and Isagi in the start of the second half and did the same for Shido in chapter 342. He also had a really good positioning for a goal in chapter 340, and when stopping Shido as well, he was in a good position. He stopped Otoya's shot in chapter 344, and he had a good solo one where he got the ball before Kunigami in the air and then dribbled through 6 players by himself to score the final decisive goal of the game. Loki being all speed isn't a bad thing, and him not scoring a hat-trick against England shouldn't be what makes Loki a fraud or not, as it actually makes England a strong threat. So that's good character writing for Kaneshiro in terms of making England a threat. If Loki was all speed, he would be like Usain Bolt, who was a bad player. Loki has a very good ball control and aerial threat and had a massive defensive pressure beast moments in this game too, and good positioning with great slide tackle timings. So I don't want to hear any more Loki fraud allegations, but knowing this fandom, I'm still get it. And now for Hugo. He designed that opening masterclass and exploited all of Bluelock's flaws, dribbling past Isagi and Rin, getting the opening assist for Charles' goal, stopped Isagi's 2-gun volley and disposed of him, mentally frying Isagi the whole game and making Bluelock succumb to his frauds, making a civil war throughout Bluelock, dribbling through Isagi, getting a lob pass to Charles and receiving that curve pass, receiving it with a chest trap to score his own goal. He stopped Rin's shot from going in and also stopped Barou before he could get his shot off. Then he made a clear-cut pass to Layden, who made a critical breakthrough. He locked down Reo and pressured him into passing, orchestrated the loophole play, and got an assist to Loki. Now, Loki's negatives are letting Nico get the ball before he did, getting nutmegged by Rin, getting cooked by Hiyori, dispossessed by Karasu, and allowing Hiyori to get the pass to Isagi, which could have led to a goal. Now for Hugo. He had his pass stolen by Nico, inadvertently made Japan have hope through Karasu. Had he kept his mouth shut, Bluelock would have died way faster. Letting Isagi get the ball before him by being in a worse position than Isagi, he also let Isagi slip past him and lost the battle of luck, almost leading to a tie between the teams. But now, who is the man of the match? While the manga would give it to Loki, I'm giving it to Hugo. He had a higher GA than Loki and had less mistakes. These 2 offensive impacts were insane, the best in this game. But Hugo just had a little bit more shine in this game, considering Kaneshiro mainly focused on him in this game throughout the whole time, on offense and defense. This was his match and I really enjoyed the heck out of it. while the pacing was weird, it was still a really good match. And these rankings are my rankings. They are not perfect, but let me know in the comment sections, how would you guys rank these? And until the next video, stay blessed. Suki out.